Welcome to Cooking on Low. I'm going to show you today how to make cinnamon roll biscuits. We're going to start with a bowl. We have our flour, sugar, cream of tartar, and baking powder in here already, as well as our butter. Our butter is freezing cold. We want it as cold as possible. And then we're going to blend it in with a pastry blender. That's how we're going to do it. If you wanted to, you could take this and shred it with a tree shredder. You just need to make sure that your butter is completely frozen and really cold. So cold is what makes it flaky. Okay, so biscuits and pie dough crusts, to get them nice and flaky, we need our butter to be as cold as possible. The other thing to think about when you're using a pastry blender to cut this up, okay, it's rounded. Okay, so you want to roll. Okay, you're not just gonna sit here and pound. Okay, you're gonna roll. Okay, you want the butter to be pea-size or smaller is what we're going for here. As we mix this together. In my biscuit recipe, I have sugar added all the time, not just for this. So it's a little sweeter, but we tend to like it. We like it. We've never noticed how much sweeter it is in other biscuits in general. Okay. So when you're mixing this, you still want to see pieces of butter. We're going to add milk here in a second. Once you make sure that we are small enough. We're not quite. Okay. Things to remember when we're mixing. Not only am I rolling this, picking it up and rolling it and moving around the bowl, but I'm also rotating the bowl. You want to do this all the time when you're stirring stuff together. Move the bowl around as well as the spoon or the spatula or whatever you're using to mix with. It does help. The other thing we want to be careful about is we don't want to overmix. And we will get into that here in a second as I finish off our butter. Thing you really don't want to do is you don't want to get your hands in this right now and mix it around and break up any butter. You can if you want. But you want this butter to try to stay as cold as possible. Some people even will do this and then put it back in the fridge before they add their milk, or they will try to keep it as cold as possible for as long as possible. Cut the butter as small as possible first and then put it in the freezer to chill out. So what we're going to do next is we're going to add our milk to this. Again, I try to wait to add this milk so it stays colder longer in the fridge. You can pre-measure it and put that in the fridge. Either one of those will work. Okay. And then from here, I'm just gonna go through with a fork, making sure that there aren't any gigantic pieces of butter. We want chunks of butter, but not hunks of butter. Okay, then I'm gonna make a well in the middle and pour this right in. And I'm just gonna start stirring. Big stirs. Okay, we're not scrambling an egg. We're just trying to incorporate the liquid with our dry ingredients. As you see, it's slowly starting to come together. So we got a very, very loose dough right now is what we got. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to put some flour down. If you don't have a surface, this is a granite top. If you don't have a good surface to roll on, cutting board would be good. Wooden cutting boards are good. But most countertops should work. Okay, and then I'm just gonna pour this out. Okay. Now I'm gonna go to my hands, and I'm gonna be as brief as possible with this, but here's what you're gonna do. You're gonna get this pile together. Okay, pat it down and fold it. Pat it down, fold it. Okay, we're sort of like kneading, not in the more traditional way, but we're just kind of folding it in on itself and patting it down. We're bringing in all these dry ingredients into the middle, pushing down. Okay, as you're doing this, you should see pieces of butter in your dough. You should see them. They should be visible. Okay. I like to put the stuff in the middle just like that. Okay, you're gonna do this about 5 or 6 times, and it should come together as a really good dough. As you can, if you can see, there's little pieces of butter. I can see chunks of butter. Okay. All right. Now that I've got it so where it's pretty much a dough that's together, I'm gonna push it out pretty thin. Now I'm gonna do this 2 more times. I'm gonna fold third, flatten. Okay, if it starts to stick, get a little bit of flour. Okay, push down, third, a little more flour. Push down, last time, third. Okay, from here, what we're gonna do next. You got a rolling pin out. Okay. We're gonna roll this out. Okay. From here on, it looks very similar to when you make regular cinnamon rolls. Okay, we want to try to keep this in a rectangular shape. So we got that rectangle. So keep it square. In order to do that, up and down, move your dough. Okay, don't do all willy-nilly left and right angles. Just go up and down and move your dough. You want to get this to a 1/4 inch or less. Okay. Looks about good. So, we got there. Next we have melted butter. And what I like to do is I like to leave like maybe an inch, half an inch at the top, because I'm going to roll this way. So I just take my finger along, and you should leave a nice little line you can see. And from there I'm going to pour my melted butter. And all we're doing with the butter is spreading it around so that we can put our cinnamon sugar on, and it has something to stick to. Something I've discovered over years of making cinnamon rolls in general, not biscuits, but cinnamon rolls. The filling, the cinnamon sugar filling, the more you have, the better. And the reason why is because when we pan these up, it comes out the bottom and caramelizes on the bottom, and that's a crunchy caramel you get at the bottom. I think makes good cinnamon rolls. So we take our cinnamon sugar and sprinkle it on. Okay, should absorb the butter. melted butter. The way to tell if you have enough is you shouldn't see a whole lot of wet absorbed sugar as you move it around. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to roll from the bottom, pinch it in, and roll. You just want to make it somewhat tight up to that line. And then what we're going to do is take a little bit of water. This just helps seal it just a little bit. Okay, and we're going to push down. Everybody see that? Nice seam. Seam goes down, push down so the seam holds really well. Oven's at 475. Sheet tray, if you want to put parchment down you can. If you want to put spray you can. And then what we're going to do is about 1.5 inches to 2 inches. Just going to cut. You can go thinner, you can go thicker. If you go thicker you're going to cook longer. If you go thinner you're going to cook less. These should take about 15 minutes to cook. Alright, for the next part, we're going to make the icing while we're waiting. Biscuits are in the oven. Okay. We're going to start with stand mixer. Hand mixer will work. If you want to do it by hand, go for it. It's not always the easiest thing to do by hand. So first thing is milk. I'm going to add splash of vanilla. I'll add it. Powdered sugar in. Our milk with our splash of vanilla in. Okay, and then we're going to add melted butter. We're gonna let it mix. If you find it's too runny, add more powdered sugar. If you find that it is too thick, add more milk. This is your icing, so you do whatever you want. If you want to make more, make more. Okay, so for me that looks a little thin. I feel like when I'm making icing this always happens. So I'm going to add some more powdered sugar. Okay, with this, if you want to use milk, if you want to use cream, it doesn't matter. If you use milk over cream, you're going to need to add more sugar because of fat content. You want it to be an icing though. It may just be thick. Yeah, it's looking better. Just like that, we are done. Okay, it's been 12 minutes, so we're gonna pull our biscuits out. They're nice and brown. Also want to give a shout out to my niece, Alexa. Thank you for making me the pot holder. Works great.
Sorry, I don't know that one.
What we're gonna do next, while they're hot, we are going to put the icing on. Okay. So big spoon and just right in the middle and let them drizzle over. Some places will add cream cheese to their icing, some won't. That's up to you. Mine's just a very simple icing. We will take this off. Okay. So nice and warm, nice and gooey. They actually do get better as they cool off. I made these a couple days ago and we ate them for leftovers and we didn't even have to heat them up. They were still really good. So big thing you want to worry about is make sure that you get enough filling. Filling should be coming out. See how it's coming out on these? That's that brown part. And then we want to make sure that the inside is nice and done. And if you notice, this is just, yeah. So if you're worried, cut it up. You can always make more icing, put more icing over it. And then you'll have icing left over on the tray that you can get off. So enjoy, and we'll see you guys next time.